it's the place to be. You're gonna get to know restaurants and movies appear, amusement parks and ocean piers, boardwalk built and loved by family. Atlantic City's face, a changing place, time to lead the way. You want to see the old become the new, remember yesterday. Rolling chairs and trolley cars, Ferris wheels and movie stars, boardwalk built and loved by family. Atlantic City, my hometown. Atlantic City, world's playground. Atlantic City star shines near and far, you can see its glow. You get some sand in your shoes, shells in your hand, it's the place to go. Beauty pageants and parades, cotton candy taffies made, boardwalk built and loved by families. Atlantic City, my hometown. Atlantic City, world's playground. Atlantic City, my hometown. Atlantic City, world's playground.
Hello, and welcome to the Postcard Show. Welcome back. We continually flip Atlantic City postcards for your enjoyment and everybody's understanding. We'd like you to call a friend, let people know the show's on now. Tape the programs if you wish for your parents, or for nursing homes and libraries, and study them. My co-host John Paul would like to say something.
Paul, for your own personal history, store these tapes. Everything we're showing you is gone. It's been demolished and removed from town, and keep it for your memories. It's the only pictures that really exist of this stuff, unless somebody else comes out and does what we're doing.
So move closer to your set, and we flip the first card up. The expression, go jump in the ocean, probably had something to do with Atlantic City. People, hot summer days, somebody getting in their face and all, to tell them to go jump in the ocean. So Atlantic City in the surf.
Well, that's the way you laid in the water back in the 1880s. And you can see the attire of how they, bathing suits they wore and how they were. We'll show you modern bathing suits when we get up into the future, or, as today is, almost no bathing suit. So
yeah, there's the surf, and there's the boardwalk rolling chair parade heading west.
This would be, on this side of the picture, this would be Illinois Avenue, and we travel uptown. And right here is the side of the Waldorf Astoria at Ocean Avenue in the boardwalk. And this is the way the boardwalk looked back then.
And from the there's a railroader. I wanted to show you the railroader guy there. See him watching he's watching the lady walk down there.
Yeah.
Lady's coming his direction. He's checking her out. She's carrying something, like a club.
Illinois to Kentucky right there.
Hello.
Same shot. This is around New York Avenue in the boardwalk. Kentucky, just the way people got out of the sun under the shade when the shade would start on the boardwalk here. It's the way you sat around the beach, the way you do today, and here's the people that came to watch the bathers.
Today the people are so irresponsible they got to keep them completely out from underneath the boardwalk.
Well, here you have the awnings. They made proper use of awnings in those days.
Same area, or is that further?
Same area. You're talking from Illinois,
All right.
right here, to Kentucky, New York, Tennessee, right in there.
Heading east.
Heading east towards the top of the boardwalk.
Better photograph, same scene.
That's a closer, tighter scene. You can see the side of the Waldorf Astoria, which later the Mayflower, Young's Mayflower goes in here, because at this time, this is McSue Applegate's Pier at this time. There's the Young's Hotel, goes in front of the Waldorf Astoria. There's Young's Hotel. This later, for local people, became the Vienna Restaurant at St. James in the boardwalk. You can see it right here.
That's one direction.
That's one direction.
There's another direction.
There it is back the other direction from, which would be what? Tennessee to St. James. The Vienna Restaurant's tucked on the side of St. James here, and that's looking down towards the Traymore.
There's Kentucky Avenue there with that
Let's see what
spiral.
else we got in this picture. The boardwalk. That's about it.
Fire
These are the
escape.
stores that used to be on the front. I watched the pageant one time from this balcony. It was
That
great.
is the front door of that.
Right here.
No, I think further you're right.
Where, here?
Right there is the front door of the hotel.
On the Mayflower. Yeah, it was a little teeny lobby there, but the
Yeah.
main scene was down on Tennessee Avenue.
There's Kentucky.
There's Kentucky in the boardwalk.
That's Frailinger's renting that building, right?
Right. At one time, I think it was the Slits Hotel, but that's Kentucky, which became what? Frailinger's, am I correct?
Well, I'm a little thrown off right now, but I think, isn't this the same? Is that the other side
That's
of
the
the boardwalk?
same shot, the other directions, Kentucky in the boardwalk. You can see it says Frailinger's Pavilion here. This is Kentucky and the boardwalk in like 1909, something like that.
How about 1911?
How about 1911 in the other direction?
There's no pier.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. No Indiana Avenue pier?
Right. The pier has been removed at Kentucky Avenue. It's not there no more.
Either
Right.
pier? I don't see no
The
pier.
pavilions are. No, the pier has been removed. This would right at the end of my pointer here would be the Central Pier.
Is that this pier?
I presume it's right here in the columns. You can see the columns here. This is looking east. The Mayflower would be on the other side of the boardwalk here.
That's a crowded boardwalk.
That's a crowded boardwalk looking east towards Steeplechase Pier.
As people came to Atlantic City to flip out and to loop-de-loop.
On Central Pier was this loop-de-loop. People will remember this. It flipped you around. Flipped you around. There's people upside down in this thing. They never flopped to the deck, did they? I don't know. I never read any old newspaper accounts, but that's been happening lately in Atlantic City.
There's the loop-de-loop.
There's the loop-de-loop on the end of Central Pier, which it was Applegate's Pier and Young's first pier.
Horses on the beach.
And there's horses on the beach out there. This is probably from Arkansas looking towards Steel Pier. The electric company ran their power up the board because the grid would come in where the railroad came in. So you only had power from Arkansas to the Wood or Mississippi in the Wood, and then they ran it up the outside of the boardwalk.
So this is Young's first pier from McSuey and Roy.
It's Applegate's Pier, which became
That's the auditorium pier.
Applegate McSuey, and then Young bought it with McSuey. Then McSuey left, and Young kept it, and he built his Young's Hotel, which became the Mayflower. It became Central Pier and then Shift Pier.
Okay, this is the same shot, a little darker.
A little darker.
Let's see if we can get that glare at
That
it.
would be St. James in the boardwalk right here.
Okay, look at them with their carousels and their umbrellas.
Carousels and dressed gay 90s, I guess.
Umbrellas, the most unrecognized danger in the world.
There it is again. That would be the
two first brick buildings built in Atlantic City.
The Waldorf and the Astoria.
Later to become the Slits.
No, I think it became the Belmont
and the Slits.
And the Slits building.
Okay.
Sure. It became a bank.
Same idea, the same area.
The Boardwalk National Bank, yeah, and then they tore it down and put the arcade building right here.
All right. That's a crowded boardwalk, eh?
All right, that's looking east towards Steeplechase Pier. This is South Carolina Avenue right here.
South? Is this South Carolina Avenue at the sunrise?
That is South Carolina Avenue and the beach right there.
There's a pavilion there.
That's the Child's Pavilion. And this is South Carolina Avenue right here to the beach.
That would be the Princess?
Back here would be the Princess.
Oh, everybody from the Margate and everybody used to hang in there.
The Bluebird. Jeff's father owned it.
I think here's the same place with the top of the building taken off it. Now you see the sunray and above, right?
Right here.
Does that look like the same
Yeah,
place?
that's what they would do. They would take the
top off.
Russian onions or the cones that they would have here and take it off.
They took the top of the building above sunray off, and there it is off, right?
Yep.
Or is that before? Wait a minute. 05. It's just a little thing here. Hold on a minute. People have patience. And 11. Okay. Actually, the place had no top to it, and they put a second story on it for that to be something. So we'll put this in there now.
Same two buildings, the Waldorf and the Astoria, and this would be South Carolina Avenue and the beach here. Here's people walking down to the beach.
What's that building, the next building?
This one?
What's that big building there?
I have no, that would be the Chalfont.
The Chalfont.
There's the side of the Chalfont right here as it approached the boardwalk, and then they put some boardwalk stores on. Then they had the cabanas, and you just went down the beach.
And you had the beach and the shells and the splinters and the cuts and the near drownings and hiccups. And
this is right at the main 10.
There it is.
It's South Carolina Avenue. There it is. Back in the 1880s, 1890s.
And they got real happy on the beach.
Yeah, they were dancing outside
on the beach. Look at that gear. What's the sense?
Nice bathing suits that the woman had on there. They had stockings. They had to wear stockings from here to their knees, and then a full dress bathing suit, and even bathing caps. And the men had to be completely covered from the top of the knees.
So the clothes would drown you, and the lifeguards would come and get you.
If the undertow ever got you, it pulled you down. The weight of the clothes would drown you. There's the Chalfont and the Haddon Hall sitting back in there, and the seaside. Here they are here. Here's our world-famous lifeguards sitting out here, laying out.
Just another picture again.
There's the flip-flop again to let you know where you are. You can see the Haddon Hall and the Strand in the background at North Carolina Avenue. This is on the Tennessee Avenue Pier, at which time was probably called Young's Pier.
Well, let's go all the way back to like Jackson Avenue and work our way back uptown.
All right, here we are in Lower Chelsea at the cottages along what? Where would they be? Berkeley?
It could be Chelsea itself, you know, Montpelier and Pacific, something like that. You don't think so?
No, this is down in Lower Chelsea. This is down like Newton, Montgomery, somewhere down in there because there's too much open spaces at this time.
Big places.
At this date, uptown would be completely filled in. There would be no
What's
idea.
the date on the card? Do you,
I have
you know?
no idea.
No idea? What date would you suspect?
1911.
Close.
What?
1907. August of 1907.
I'd say it's Lower Chelsea because by that time, Chelsea was lotted out.
Okay. And then the Army was coming here, right? And
well, as we come up to Albany Avenue, this would be Albany Avenue where my pointer is. So actually, right now, this is
Hart's parking lot.
Hart's parking lot, but what it would be is the site of the President Hotel. And then Hartford Avenue would have been the Dutch kitchen would be here, and the Everly's rolling chair storage house would be out there. I think you can see it if you pull this back a little bit. You can see the storage house for the rolling chairs out here, and this is the Espanol at the time, which became the Osden. So this is between Albany and Hartford Avenues. Right now, the Hilton is right here, which was the Golden Nugget, which was the Valley Grand, but now it's the Hilton, and this is Albany to Hartford. The boardwalk, you can see it running right down the outside here.
Something like that.
Oh, that was the United States Army. It was, I remember talking to Mr. Tracy, and he stated that it was the black military of the United States actually camped out there in 1910, 1911.
Right.
Here's Everly's storage for the rolling chair building at Hartford and the boardwalk, if anyone remembers Albany Avenue at that time.
Well, that's what it was like going to the beach,
and this is the Albany Avenue beach right here.
And like that.
And like that out in front of the boardwalk. This is Albany Avenue.
Well, closer it is, a little bit closer. There's the Osden, for anybody's
There's
interested.
the Osden. It's a bad picture of the Osden.
Don't have a good one.
Don't have a good one, but what we do know is that from Iowa Avenue, the city stopped at Iowa Avenue. And from Iowa Avenue to Jackson, a company headed by 3 women, a development company by 3 females, which is way back in the day, built the boardwalk from Iowa to Jackson. And this is them celebrating the opening of their own boardwalk. Now, if you look real close down here, it actually says Morris Avenue.
No.
Right there.
Higher, man.
Where is it? Right here?
No, higher, man.
I can't see it. There's too much glare.
Right on this rail right here, I don't think people can see it. Can't see it.
You can't see it, but if you look at
Good
this picture,
idea.
you'll see it say Morris Avenue right here, and then right here it says Smith's Rolling Chairs on this side. But right where this guy's hand is, it says Morris Avenue in the boardwalk, which right now is the Country Kitchens, am I correct?
Yeah.
Owned by Jack Trupus and Morris. It used to be Hi Hat Joe's, used to be here, and then they took this boardwalk when Atlantic City extended its boundaries to Jackson Avenue, and they sold it to the city for, you believe this, from Iowa to Jackson for $1,400.
Well, let's look around back the other direction. How's that? From the Chelsea Hotel on the right?
That's the other direction. This would be Brighton Avenue.
We never remember any pavilions being,
Yeah, they're
right
there.
there.
They have no roofs on them anymore, but they're there. They're
oh
housing
yeah, there's
benches
pavilions
right
there now,
now.
that's right.
Hi Hat Joe's went right on the other side of this, but this is the Chelsea. This would be taken right in front of the Ambassador property right here.
Much further down.
Right, no. Well, this would be Brighton. This would be Morris. This would be Chelsea right here. That's the boardwalk. And a better shot of the Chelsea would be actually this shot right here. There's how she looked when she was completed. This would be Brighton Avenue right here.
See all them waves
Right
holding
down on
that
the
boardwalk
boardwalk.
up there?
All right.
There's people playing in the water out in front of it.
Right, now this is out front. If you look real close, there's the Chelsea up there.
Had pavilions
And then the
boardwalk.
pavilion and the boardwalk, and here's the Savoy. And that's a California in the boardwalk. So you have from California in the boardwalk
So that's all them Brighton and Fairmount and Iowa Avenue
to
people.
Morris in the boardwalk. Yeah, this is all the Lockneys and the Sykeses and the Moonies and the Irish of Chelsea swam at the Stenton Place Beach and Brighton Avenue beaches.
As it built up and looked like that.
And then 75 years later, it became the Chelsea, the Ambassador, and the Ritz in the same spot that you
Right.
just saw these kids swimming. Where was that at?
Right back.
Right back there. Watch what happens 50 years later.
Oh, boy.
Bang! These three huge hotels went in here, and here's the Champ Hoffman lives in here now. John Deserino and Terry
people.
Johns is up here on the 16th floor,
Right, wow.
looking east.
With Zeppik Hall. and
Zeppik, everybody's in this building now. They're all
Hiding in
moved
there.
Yeah.
Here's one. The middle building is the Ambassador, right?
Right.
Was built in sections, right?
Right, there's the first section right there.
There it is. But the building's still around it that they still have to purchase to put the second back of the Ambassador on hand. You can see the Chelsea Hotel towards the left. And that's the
Well,
walk.
the thing is, here's the Yarmouth and the Savoy. This is where the
Right.
Ritz got built, right here. There's
Right.
no Ritz. There's nothing between Iowa and Stenton. The Ambassador's on. The second piece is not on.
All right.
And to notice the construction of the Ambassador, the back piece was built like the way St. Nick's School was built, out of that big heavy stone. But here it goes downtown to about Montpelier.
Big building down that way.
Yeah, it was probably the Agnew.
The Agnew, yeah.
And
the
that's
Agnew.
another one that everyone forgot about, the Agnew,
Let's
which was
turn it-
where the La Concha was built, I believe.
Now they got the Ambassador built, right? So what's the first thing you do when you get another new tall building in there? You take a photograph of the other direction or from the roof. Look at that.
Well, this is from the top of the Ritz.
Whatever.
Actually, Terry Johns on the 16th floor of the Ritz has this view today with the convention hall in here. There's no convention hall in here. What you have here is Rendezvous Park. You can see the side of the entrance right here in white.
That white
And you
building.
can see at Bellevue. That's where the boardwalk goes from 40 feet to 60 feet, right there.
Oh, hey, hold it. Why are you right there?
Yeah.
Why is the boardwalk that far wider from Bellevue to $1 Million? Because that's where the pavilion sat. And they left it boardwalk.
Right, they left it boardwalk. The pavilion sat in front of there, and then they made that JFK Plaza when they
Right.
built the convention hall here. You
Right.
can see the roller coaster structure back in here, and you can also see the roller coaster structure on our Kansas.
So where was Danny Fideli's restaurant at?
That was at Missouri in the boardwalk.
And it was called what, Ferraro's or something?
Fideli's.
Ferraro's.
Oh, was it? I don't know. I
Okay.
remember eating there when I worked in the Holiday Inn, but...
Okay, how's that for that section of town being gone?
Right, you can see all the apartments on Bellevue in Florida. They had two huge apartment complexes from Florida to Bellevue, and on the other side of Bellevue to Texas. And it was really neat. The steps went right off the boardwalk, and you could sit up in them balconies.
That's where the dipsticks went in there.
Dipsticks went on the other side near the model home.
All right, here's that first pier in Atlantic City again. We always have to come back to that when we look west.
Right, that's
There it
looking west from $1 Million Pier in 1906.
That's a deep one. We'll come back to this one.
There's the $1 Million Pier. You can see Rendezvous Park laid down in here. Rendezvous Park right there. You can see Captain Young's home here, and the Net Hall 1 and Net Hall 2. This is where the horses wound up. First, the Italian fishermen were here, and they compromised with the people that wanted to do all the horseback riding on the beach, and the Italian fishermen took all their fishing boats to the westerly side of the pier to go fishing. That would be Mr. Barbero, who ran the net halls.
Where's the GE sign? Too early.
The GE sign's too early. It's before 1929.
Right.
And then the Italian Village was right here on the pier.
Now, over here on the left, that's Rendezvous Park.
There's Rendezvous Park's entrance right there.
21. And no tall buildings to...
No tall buildings to leap with in a single bound.
There's one. What's that? The Ritz comes in.
The Ritz starts coming in.
Okay.
So, the Savoy, I think it is.
Here's right across the street from this $1 Million Pier.
That's a night shot. Right across the $1 Million Pier would be where my pointer is. And this is right across from Arkansas to Missouri, from Missouri to Columbia Place.
Now, in that big building was a roller coaster.
Behind this building was a roller coaster that ran from the Boardwalk to Pacific Avenue. And then years later, they built the Lexington Hotel there, and they tore that down. And they also had a twin Lexington Hotel, which was New York and Snake Alley. Westminster, what was the name of that?
I forget, but here's a roller coaster I wanted to show you.
Now you can see the roller coaster
all that dark
in
stuff
construction
back
all the way
right
back here. All that heavy 4x4 lumber and track that the railroad would use. There was a roller coaster from Arkansas all the way up to the Boardwalk back in there. You can see it right there.
A lot of people crowded in there in that part of the city.
Here's where the Warner Theater went in, and the Shelburne Hotel is over here.
The Shelburne Hotel's off the map, but we go past Park Place with that again.
There's that to show you the Sailors and Soldiers Memorial.
That was near the Windsor, right?
That was really...
You can't see the Windsor there, but right behind that white building you're pointing at.
That's the Traymore.
Here's this building was sitting in
The
there.
Windsor sat on Illinois Avenue. It was beautiful.
Isn't that nice?
Now, in our age group, who actually went to the Traymore in the 50s and 60s, this wall still remained when we were kids, and this was a parking lot. They had taken this whole Windsor out of there by the end of the 50s. And the Mount Vernon Avenue in the back, this was a wall, and we used to park here to go into the Traymore. This would be, if you look down the street, this would be Illinois Avenue you're looking down. The Continental Hotel would go right in here.
There was big parking garages in the 50s. Yellow brick parking garages that were serviced by the Traymore Hotel. That's Kentucky and the Boardwalk.
This is a card that was faded. Right here would be the Luray. These awnings we found out belonged to the Luray Hotel at Kentucky and the Boardwalk.
There's the Luray.
There's the Luray looking down Kentucky Avenue here towards Pacific, up here to Kentucky and the Boardwalk, over to Illinois, because you can see a little bit, maybe almost of the Windsor, barely back here. Now, when the fire came burn all this down, what we know as kids, and anyone can remember that are our age, around 40 or 50, these empty lots became the Lombardi. This side of became the Lombardi Motel, and then when you got onto the other side of the street over here, this became like an annex to the Lombardi Hotel. Right here. It became a motel, though.
And they moved uptown with better photographs. That's coming up what, Pennsylvania?
That's Pennsylvania Avenue what? Looking at what?
Towards the Boardwalk with the steel pier on the left.
Right, here's the newly constructed steel pier on your left, and if you look real deep back here, if you ever buy the card, the Marine Ballroom is under construction. It's not even built. So this is probably like 1899.
So you go around the end of the pier.
The Seaside building would be put right here with the Strand Theater.
And you come looking towards Virginia Avenue.
Now you're looking down the east side of Steel Pier right here. This is the picnic area, which became our picnic deck up here years later. They extended the Boardwalk out here and went back in and made parking for you here.
Put a tunnel there to access the pier.
They put a tunnel here to get to the pier without driving over the Boardwalk. But there's Virginia Avenue. This is the Jackson building. At the foot of this ramp would be the Oceanic Gift Shop, and the Morton would be down here.
Hold it, you're pointing to the Islesworth right now.
No, the Islesworth's on this side of the street.
Yeah, right there, yeah.
Right.
Here's that side of the street, which we want to correct from last week's show.
Right.
Or the week before. This is building all the way up at the end, if I may.
Right here.
Move your
I got it.
pointer.
Right there.
That building right there is the Islesworth. Down this way, that's the Grand Atlantic.
That's the Grand Atlantic.
Okay. And they became, in the 60s, all parking lots, and all the buildings behind these buildings all burnt down.
Right, well, on the site of these two buildings went the Best of Life, right here. And
Okay.
Z Parking got the Owlsworth site, but Buddy's Bar and all that was still a Virginia and the Board.
That's the Virginia Theater up there on the
The
end.
Virginia Theater went up on the end as well, but the funny thing is, all this, the Taj Mahal sits on top of all this. It
Both
replaced
sides.
all these, both sides of the street. This is the entrance to the Taj Mahal right now, Virginia. There it is from the board.
That's the,
What you
That's
have
it.
on this side of the street, you actually have the train, not trolleys now, trains, bringing you right to Virginia Avenue and the Boulevard
to play billiards in that building.
to play billiards. You see, billiards. Buddy's Bar later went in here, and Burt Lancaster shot them guys in the movie Atlantic City. But you can see the Owlsworth, you can see the Grand Atlantic, and they go down. We don't know all the names. I mean, we know them, but we can't rattle them off. On this side, you went down the ramp from Frailinger's.
Oceanic Gift Shop,
The Oceanic Gift Shop was right down here.
the bus
The
stop.
bus terminal, they took a building out in here, and that became the bus terminal. Then you had the Wilshire, the Jackson, the Morton, the Shoreham, the Clarendon,
Jewish
the
Community
Jewish
Center.
Community Center, an open lot.
Viking
And,
Theater or something?
no, that was the, hey, what was the name of that? Quarterdeck Theater.
The Clarendon and
And the empty lot and the Abelmeyer. You got off the Jitney way down here,
the Shoreham.
and you had to walk all the way up to the steel pier here, and then Frailinger's was on the corner.
And all the girls from,
All the Tony Grant stars of tomorrow were packed in all these hotels all the time.
here's Virginia Avenue and the Boulevard looking towards the inlet.
It's looking towards Maryland Avenue, Virginia and the Boardwalk, Virginia and the Boardwalk to Maryland Avenue. It would be the
That's-
Virginia Avenue and Maryland Avenue Pavilion.
That's the view they had.
That's the view when you look back at Steel Pier. Here's the side of Steel Pier where everybody, see, in those days, not too many people went in the water. It was considered bravery, but all the people would flock down here to watch the people go in the ocean at high tide. And here they are all along these railings up here.
Looking at them.
And there's Virginia Avenue and the Boardwalk back here. And this is Donkeys and all at the Virginia Avenue and Maryland Avenue beaches right here. Because you can see the Owlsworth up in here when you look at it and study it with a magnifying glass. Virginia Avenue is right there.
Well, we only have a few more minutes to go. We'll show you some Kentucky and Pacific.
There's Kentucky and Pacific. Take the glare off.
Kentucky and Pacific.
This became the Bell Telephone Building over here. I forget the name of the church. The electric company bought this building on this side of the street.
Well, that corner of that church here, right? Right there. Is right there.
Right, here it is here. And then here's a high-rise apartment building that was on that side. Later, they took the top floors off. It became a pharmacy. And then later, it became state offices for some kind of entitlement program, right?
Pacific.
Here's Illinois Avenue and Pacific.
Looking east.
Right, you can see the horse and buggies looking east.
Ba-dum.
Tennessee and Pacific looking southeast. This became a nightclub, and the Columbus Hotel went in here years later.
What's that on the left there? The Elbron
That's Tennessee and
Hotel.
Pacific. Yeah, the Elbron.
There's a grocery store there, remember?
Right, and the apartment buildings and the YMCA, and then the large apartment buildings in South Carolina.
That's the townhouse apartments on the left.
Right
and
here.
The Drake on
and
the
the
right.
Drake on the right. It's
Little
South
John
Carolina,
steeple.
South Carolina and Pacific.
Okay, you got that? This was Tennessee and Pacific on the church was letting out.
It's actually St. Nicholas. There's the Elbron Hotel at Tennessee and Pacific. Here's St. Nicholas Tolletarian. Is that right?
They're gone. Star to Sea took over
Right,
that.
Star of the Sea took over that. Here's the front of the rectory. The school's been torn down now.
Yep, it's a parking lot.
There's Tennessee and Atlantic. There's the City Hall and the fire department.
Fire department. This is a closer view of that?
There's a closer view of the fire department and City Hall. Years later, it all became City Hall. The fire department went to certain firehouses, and this became the police department in the back.
Let's back up a little bit and see more.
As you back down the street, there's City Hall and the fire department. You come down to the law building, the bank at New York and Atlantic, and in here became the Hollywood and Center Theaters in our generation.
Could we just have a little fun?
Yeah.
Let me just remove these. We got a few minutes left. About 1 minute. We just want to show you. If you're a
All right,
postcard
getting ready.
collector, check it out. One,
All right.
two. If you collect postcards and you want to get a corner on that City Hall building that was torn down in 1968, here's City Hall, and they're coming back to me, and we're going to wrap the show up. Here it is. We did another great show on the city of Atlantic City. We hope you enjoy it. tell others, tune in every Sunday at 2 p.m. on this channel.
New York has its lady, San Francisco the Bay, Paris has its tower, London its queen. The town I was born in might change from old to new. That's something I must tell you. I've got sand in my shoes. I'll never leave Atlantic City. I'll never go too far away. I'll never leave Atlantic City. On the boardwalk, the song, people come every day, take in the salt air, walk on its beaches, might ride in rolling chairs. When they look at the brand new, think of the old days, things they used to do. Atlantic City, my hometown, I won't forget Atlantic City. I'll never leave